Hello and good day to all of our viewers. Welcome to the Philippine Legal Advice Channel. I am your host Sophie, and tonight we are going to feature the rights of a person under arrest and police investigation. Our story is about Rommel, a cigarette vendor. Unknown to many, Rommel is no ordinary cigarette vendor. He is a confidential asset of the police anti-narcotics team. Because of the information he supplied, his handlers, notorious drug pushers in the city, were arrested or liquidated by the police. There were times when the people that Rommel reported to the police were tortured to get more information about where they get their drugs. Some were killed during the buy-bust operation for the reason that the police claimed that they fought back. Rommel is now bothered by his conscience. This is because not all information he gave the police were accurate. These resulted to several persons ending up in jail or being killed. It was the money paid to him in exchange for the information that motivated him to report individuals even without proof that they are indeed involved in the illegal drug trade. Tonight, his handlers will be back for more information. But he can no longer put another innocent man to jail or worse, to the grave. He dreads every second that passes. Soon the policemen will come, and they expect him for new information. What will happen if they know there will be none? A few minutes later, his police handlers arrived. And just as he expected, they wanted new information about drug pushers they can arrest. For the policemen, they brought with them the usual reward money for Rommel. They were confident that he will have a new suspect to give them. Little did they know that tonight will be different. The ever-dependable Rommel has nobody to report. This will be the first in several months that he was empty-handed as a confidential asset. This did not only surprise the policemen, it angered them. They just cannot believe Rommel has nothing to give them. This also made them concerned, as they could not make their quota of drug pushers arrested per week, as they promised their superiors. "We cannot go back to the precinct empty-handed," said one of the policemen. "The boss will surely be mad." As to who this policeman refers to as his boss, Rommel is not sure if he was indeed referring to their precinct commander. But what is sure is the policemen are getting angrier as it sank in that he has no information to give. One of them came up with a bright idea. "Why don't we just arrest you, Rommel? Surely that will give you a lesson." The other policemen quickly agreed, as they have to be back in the precinct in order to call it a night. So they arrested Rommel on the spot just like any other drug pusher. They pointed the gun on him and cuffed him. At the precinct, Rommel kept on pleading for the police to release him, as he is not a drug pusher or even a drug user. "What the hell? I am on your side," he protested. He was their confidential asset. But the police investigator was not convinced. He pointed out to the affidavit of arrest executed by the arresting officers. He even showed Rommel the sachet of drugs that was supposedly seized from him. Rommel was shocked, but soon realized that it was easy for the arresting officers to produce the drugs. It also dawned on him the numerous times the policemen could have planted drugs on the persons they have arrested. If they can do it to them, they can also do it to me, he thought. Despite his protestation, the police locked up Rommel. He is to face charges in the morning for peddling drugs. A thing that will surely put him behind bars for life. In the morning, the police ushered in a lawyer to meet Rommel. He recognized this lawyer as a close friend of the policeman. He is often called to the precinct to represent those who were caught in buy-busts operations. The lawyer ushered Rommel to the investigation room and shoved a bunch of papers that he wanted him to sign. The lawyer repeatedly assured him that he was on his side. He also told Rommel that he may even go out of jail if he admits to have only used drugs. All he has to do is to sign the papers he prepared. Believing it what he was told, Rommel signed the papers without even reading the same. He was confident that the lawyer was really helping him. However, Rommel was later shocked to hear the bad news. Instead of being released from jail as what the lawyer promised him, the public prosecutor has filed drug possession with intention to sell against him. This is because the quantity of drugs allegedly found in his possession is so big that nobody would believe that he was merely using it. When the case was finally heard in court, the judge decided to dismiss the charges and acquitted Rommel. This is due to 3 legal grounds. First, the extrajudicial admission of Rommel is inadmissible as evidence. Second, it was not proven that Rommel was committing a crime at the time he was arrested. And lastly, the chain of custody rule in drug cases was not complied with. This made the sachet of drugs seized from Rommel inadmissible in evidence. Now we are going to discuss why the extrajudicial confession of Rommel, as contained in the affidavits that the lawyer made him sign, is admissible. This is because the policeman did not inform him of his rights to remain silent and be represented by a competent and independent counsel. Like any person arrested by the police, Rommel is protected by the Bill of Rights of the 1987 Constitution. He cannot be made to give any information or sign any document admitting to any crime without first consulting with a lawyer. This constitutional safeguard is so strict that the arresting officers are duty-bound to respect these rights and to make sure that Rommel was informed that he is entitled to these. He is entitled to these rights the moment he is arrested. Furthermore, the Bill of Rights requires that Rommel should be represented by a competent and independent lawyer, preferably of his choice. This means that the police cannot just let any lawyer, especially those who are friendly to them, to assist Rommel at the time of his arrest or investigation. This is important as the lawyer would render the proper advice if Rommel is asked any question by the policeman. Failure to accord him this basic right, his extrajudicial confession, cannot be considered by the court as evidence. Now, let us talk about the sachet of drugs that was supposedly seized from Rommel. There are 2 grounds that would make the judge disregard this as evidence against Rommel. First, it was seized as a result of an illegal arrest. Rommel was not doing any criminal act when he was arrested by the police officers. As such, there was no reason for the policeman to conduct a search. Furthermore, the policeman did not follow the chain of custody rule. This is a stringent rule to make sure that the integrity of the illegal drugs seized is not tainted. There should be an unbroken link between the time it was seized, brought to the crime laboratory, and presented in court. In this case, these requirements of an unbroken chain of custody was not followed. This rendered the drugs inadmissible in evidence in the absence of a reasonable explanation. If it is proven that the policeman violated the constitutional rights of the person arrested, they will be made criminally liable under Republic Act No. 7438, which provides for the rights of persons arrested, detained, or placed under custodial investigation. In addition, if it is proven that the police planted evidence on the person arrested, they could also be liable under Republic Act No. 9516, which imposes a stiff penalty of life imprisonment. Well, that is our episode for today. We hope that you have learned a thing or two about the rights of a person placed under arrest or subjected to police investigation. Who knows? This may come in handy in the future to protect yourselves or your family from a bleak future behind bars. Again, this is Sophie, and together with the volunteer lawyers behind the Philippine Legal Advice Channel, we are inviting you to stay tuned to our next YouTube episode. In the meantime, have a good day.